I've been watching Gotham Knights since its premiere, and I have a lot of things to say about this show. It could be so much better. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't understand why this show was actually made in the first place. I don't understand it because the idea of following a kid who was adopted by Bruce Wayne, we don't know why, and that's a mystery and all that kind of stuff, and I'm guessing we'll find that out before the season ends. But the idea of like, okay, we're going to follow this kid, Turner Hayes, who since the pilot has had hardly any character development. We're supposed to follow him and these other kids who've been accused of Bruce Wayne's murder and all that. And then the Court of Owls, and there's Misha Collins as Harvey Dent. It's just like there's a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, there's not a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of problems with the show, and one of the biggest ones is technically the lead. He is the lead of the show, Turner Hayes. Nothing against the actor, but literally his character has not really had any development, any growth whatsoever since the pilot episode. And I'm questioning, why are we following him? Like, why is he the lead? Like, I think if you're going to do a story like this with the death of Batman and everything, wouldn't you want to follow maybe the Robin of this story, which is Carrie Kelly, which we do get some of her within the storylines and some development, especially in episode 5, more of some backstory and more of her in the episode. But the thing is that Carrie Kelly, I think, would be more interesting as a whole than Turner Hayes as the lead in the show, because to me, I don't know what Turner Hayes' connection is to Bruce Wayne. I'm guessing we'll find that out. It's a mystery and all that. But I think, okay, if you're going to introduce, okay, there was a Robin in this world. It was this girl named Carrie and all this stuff. And she helped save Bruce at some point. And then she became his Robin. Whatever. Maybe she'd be more of a focal point to focus on. But right now it's like, okay, well, we have to have kind of a Dick Grayson character. So let's just invent Turner Hayes. It really just baffles me because, like I said, Turner Hayes is a one-note character. Like, he hasn't really done anything. Like, he's stepping outside his comfort zone. He's being this kind of, bad kid vigilante because of the circumstances in terms of being accused of murdering his father. But it's like, we didn't know him. Like, just a small little quick bits of lines, but we don't know this character. They haven't really spent time to develop. It's because all the other things they're trying to do within the show, they have no time to develop them. They have time to develop Harper and Colin Rowe, right? And give us a lot of time with Duella and trying to, like, Joker's daughter. Turner, he doesn't really get anything besides, oh, he's outside his comfort zone and he's the son of Bruce Wayne. That's it. Like, there's nothing really to the character at all. There are two saving graces that are making this show at least watchable in a sense, and that is, one, Misha Collins as Harvey Dent, and number two is the Court of Owls storyline. If they weren't in the mix at all, or if they were less than what they actually are in terms of like screen time and everything each week per episode, sometimes more than others, but if they were like barely a part of the storyline or not at all, this is not a watchable show in my opinion. But thankfully, the Court of Owls stuff is directly tied into Bruce Wayne's death and all this kind of stuff, so it's at least worth that. And Misha Collins' Harvey Dent is getting more screen time each episode, it seems. So those things are saving the show at this point. The kids, the teens, whatever the hell, they're not doing anything to save the show for me. Maybe Carrie Kelly, but everything else, like, it's whatever. I feel like Misha Collins as Harvey Dent, like, we're seeing the exploration and the origin of him becoming Two-Face. We're seeing that slowly throughout the show. And with the Court of Owls stuff, they're slowly revealing more information and more info in terms of, their connection to a lot of things and the talent and all that kind of stuff. At least that stuff is somewhat entertaining to where, okay, this is interesting. And I'm also saying as well, I was thinking this watching episode 5, which is the most recent episode as I'm recording this video. Why isn't Misha Collins as Harvey Dent? Why isn't this show about him? And like I was saying earlier about the whole Carrie Kelly thing, but her being the focal point, maybe that would help. But maybe having Misha Collins as Harvey Dent being the main focus point, maybe that should have been the thing too. But also, we had a show called Gotham, right? So what would you call this show? Dent? Harvey Dent? Would you call it Two-Face? Like, see, we already have the Penguin that's connected to the Batman. Like, at a certain point, I get to where, okay, if we're wanting to do a show in Gotham connected to some characters that we may or may not know, at a certain point, you're running out of ideas in terms of titles and focus, because you've already had so many different shows already covering multiple different things, because Gotham focused on so many characters. Harvey didn't really get a lot of time at all in Gotham, so in the Gotham series. So having Misha Collins in the mix, okay, it's definitely making it intriguing. Where are they taking him? We already know where the end game is for his character, but Like, we'll see what they do in terms of the development of him and how he's tied into everything else. And the Court of Owls stuff, thankfully, is giving us somewhat of some interesting things that are happening with that. So thankfully those two things are occurring. I'll just be straight up and honest. Gotham Knights as a whole, this show should never have existed. I just don't see a purpose behind it. And even if the show ends up being better than I'm thinking it's going to be, because right now it's okay, with a lot of asterisks on that okay, because there's a lot of issues with this show, a lot of things I just don't really care about, I'm not really connecting with. Like I said, the two saving graces, Harvey Dent, Court of Owls. Like, that's what's saving it, but still, I could literally have done without these things and just the show altogether not being a thing, and it is what it is. But the fact is that the show is here, at least I can point to, okay, those things here are what's keeping me watching, because I want to see where Court of Owls ends up and where, of course, how Harvey gets to the point of being Two-Face. All this other stuff, it doesn't matter. Because they're not really developing these characters outside of maybe Carlin and Harper. Other than that, they're not really developing the characters, right? You know, in terms of the kids and the teens, the show just shouldn't exist. It just shouldn't. Because we could have spent this money on something else. Or something, non-Bat related. Because as Andy, who is my co-host from Endless Multiverse, has said several times, about Bat-related content, or Batman-related media, there's been so much of it. Why don't we focus on something else? Like, why couldn't we focus on a lesser-known DC character for a show instead of Gotham Knights? You know what I'm saying? Because we already had Batwoman at the time when Gotham Knights was being in development. Like, the people from Batwoman were developing Gotham Knights. And it's like, you already had a Bat character on it. You already had, Batwing and Batwoman. You already had these things. Why do we need a Gotham Knights show? Why do we need it? And the answer is, we don't need it. And then the bigger answer is, we don't need anything. We technically don't need anything. But what are they trying to say about Gotham Knights? Like, what is the purpose behind the show? Like, why is it a thing? Why does it exist? And the answer is, who fucking knows? Because I just don't see a purpose of the show being a thing. Because you could have brought in the Court of Owls and Batwoman, right? You could have brought in Harvey Dent in. Oh, they might have mentioned Harvey Dent. Like, see, there's so much stuff that happened in Batwoman. I know Court of Owls was not a thing. I'm wondering if Harvey Dent, maybe they did mention Harvey Dent, or maybe, I can't remember. It's been so fucking long. But you get what I'm saying. There's certain things they covered in Gotham Knights they could have potentially covered in Batwoman. But instead they decided, okay, let's just do this. Let's do this show. It's like, we don't need it. We don't need it. That's my little discussion, rant, whatever, about some of my issues and the saving graces. It wasn't completely negative the entire time about this video, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about Gotham Knights. I'm curious to know what you guys think. You been watching Gotham Knights? If not, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you have been watching it, if you've been liking it, disliking it, whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.